This is Professor Sheikh Maksud. I'll be talking about the subject business studies of second PUC. So before moving on to second PUC business studies, let us all have a glance of what we have already done in our first PUC. If you could see that in first PUC, we have been introduced to what actually management business studies, what is management, what is service industry, what are the different forms of organizations that you can open in India, what are the opportunities available if you are, single person, if you wanted to start a company or an industry, how you can manage just by opening a sole trading concern, or in case if you require more amount of money, how you can go for a next option, that is partnership firm. And in case if you want to go with a very large industry having its presence in pan India all over the country, or if you want to go to every state, you require a lot of money, a lot of investment, a lot of finance. That time how you can issue shares in the market, and with that amount how you can easily start the organization which is doing a mass production. We have seen even multinational companies, cooperative societies. So we have done completely first PUC syllabus based on what business is and how you can grab the opportunity of opening different ventures depending upon the investment what you hold. We even saw what are the different aid to industries or businesses which are helping the day-to-day activity, the smooth functioning of the business houses and the industries by providing services like warehousing, services like transportation, banking, insurance, telecommunication, etc. We even saw what are the different technical terms that we come across in day-to-day business life. So this was your first PUC syllabus, where most of the thing we were introduced to what business is, what do you mean by industry, what do you mean by manufacturing units, and what are the different varied varieties of options that you get to start up your industry or your business. In second PUC business studies, we are going to specifically talk about the term called management. As you know, management is nothing but managing the people, managing the employees of the organizations. There is no organization in the world which is without the management. May it be small, may it be a large, management is management. Every organization has its own management. As we say that management is all pervasive. What do you mean by all pervasive? Means to say that management is present everywhere. Management is found in every organization, whether it may be a school, college, a hospital, mosque, temple, church, non-government organizations like your trust, ashrams. Everywhere you find management. Every organization is not without management. And management has its own significance. You see, there are so many companies that take birth every day. At the same time, there are so many companies which not able to stand up to the competition, or few companies where they do a lot of mismanagement and they have been forced to shut down their organizations. Now, the main difference you can see here, the main difference between the organizations which are successful and those organizations which are not successful is nothing but how the management was able to manage the organization. So management becomes a prime important factor as to the success of the organization. Now we are going to, that is what we are going to see in this chapter, the nature and significance of management, chapter number 1. We are going to talk about the blueprint of this chapter, how many marks will be asked from this chapter and in what sequence. Second, we are going to talk about the meaning of management, different meanings, as told by different management gurus. Third, we are going to discuss about the definitions given by two different personalities. Before starting meaning and definition, let me first go to the next slide, where we will talk about what is the bifurcation of the marks or the questions asked from this chapter and how much weightage does this chapter consist of. Understood? Here is the slide. As you can see on the display, I have put up the slide which speaks about the allotment of marks as per PU board blueprint. As you are all aware that business studies question paper consists of 5 sections: section A, section B, section C, section D, and section E, which is nothing but section A 1 marker, section B 2 markers, section C 4 marker, section D 8 marker, and section E, which is your practical oriented questions. I have not included here. I'm just focusing on the questions which comes from first to fourth section, A, B, C, and D. As you can see, 1 mark, there is 1 question asked. 2 mark, there is 1 question asked. And 8 marker, there is 1 question asked. There is no 4 marker question from this chapter. Now, summing it up, you see it gives you almost 11 marks. Please have a note that there may be a slight fluctuation if in case you will be intimated regarding it, but this is what is the blueprint as per today's data put up on the PU board website. So 11 marks of your 100 marks paper from this chapter, chapter number 1, nature and significance of management. Now, let us move ahead to the main topic, that is the meaning of management. Dear student, it is very important as a management student, as a commerce student, for you to understand what actually the term management is, because most of the topics what we are going to cover in your part 1, that is 8 chapters. Your part 1 consists of 8 chapters. So they are 90% consisting of things relating to management. So it is of utmost important to you to understand in details what actually management stands for. First and foremost, before starting management, a little brief about few facts. The first thing being is, whenever we get to hear the word management, it is nothing but managing of the employees or managing of the team or managing of the people. Management is an activity which falls into the criteria of all the managers. You know, the most difficult task in this world is not to manage a machine. There is one very complicated machine created on earth, which we have not completely understood, or we have failed to understand. That most complicated machine on this earth, as you know, is human being. Not any machinery, not any technology, not any car, or not any sophisticated jet plane or fighter plane. The most complicated. You never know when the human being gets its mood swings, when they start shouting, when they start crying, when they become happy, when they become expressive. If you don't express, you don't understand human being, because it's difficult to. So managing this complicated machine is a very big task. And here is where management comes into play. As I say, you see this HR department is there, right? Human resource department. Those people, what they do, they are with the responsibility of actually making sure everybody is getting the salary on time, taking care of the employees, other facilities like their hospital facility, if in case they are getting admitted, insurance facility, increasing the salary, decreasing the salary, more motivating them, promoting them, demoting them, to actually give the salaries, or to distribute the salaries, or to measure the performance what every individual in an organization is doing, to analyze how best they are working. You have taken another bunch of 3, 4, 8, 10, 50 people as HR people. If you could see, this is a complete wastage department. Because to manage people, you are hiring people and you are paying both those who are being managed and those who are even managing. But practically speaking, can we consider this department as a waste department? The department which is eating away so much of amount of money in the form of salaries. You pay lakhs of rupees together for the HR managers, HR operations head. But it is required, because if they are not there, it becomes difficult to manage the employees of the organization, to keep a track record of how the employees are performing their duties. So, coming to the point, management is nothing but managing the people, and without management, there is no organization. Organizations can't exist without management. If first thing which comes to our mind when the company is shutting down or company is not performing well, first we ask, who is the management? Can I meet the management? Can I see the management? Because the first question arises is the management doing what they are supposed to do in an effective and efficient manner? That is a big difference between an organization which is successful and an organization which is not successful. How you manage the people. You know, there is a company called FabMart. This is a company which is the first e-commerce company started almost 20 years back in India. And this company is basically targeting the consumers who are looking for art, handicraft products. And this company called FabMart have merged with almost every village artisans, handi, handcrafting people, and they directly give them the orders so that what they produce can be sent to the consumers who are ordering on the website. They are merged with many small artisans and craftsmen, and almost 7,500 artisans and craftsmen. You know how difficult it is to get in touch or work with 7,500 artisans and craftsmen, because this handloom industry is not found in one particular place. They are scattered all over India. And this 7,500 artisans and craftsmen are scattered all over India. Now getting in touch with them, keeping a record of them, just imagine such an abundant job it is, such a big responsibility it is. But the company is successful. They are doing it so. And they are being able to do so because of management. There is a team in FabMart which actually designs the products and everything, and they manage the incoming and outgoing of the materials, talking to these artisans and craftsmen, procuring the product and making it reach to the consumers, whoever orders it. They design the products, and as per the design, they let the artisans and craftsmen know what they want, and they produce the product according to their designs. And that is how the product comes from the artisans and craftsmen from some remotest part of the country and reaches to some remotest part of the country. And they have been able to do it successfully from past 18 to 20 years. The reason being is the management. They have managed it well. So now to understand management better, let us see that what are all the meanings, which will give us more clarity as to understanding the concept called management. First meaning I would like to read, that is, management consists of a series of interrelated functions that are performed by all managers. You see this word interrelated function. This is what we are going to talk about now more precisely so that we can understand the rest of the meaning better. First, you need to understand what are the functions and how the functions are interrelated. Basically, you see there are 5 functions of management: planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling. If anybody is simultaneously counting this with me or reading out with me, well done. You should be aware of it. You should be aware of these terms. How many functions are there? There are 5 functions of management. We have planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling. And there is another supporting function, that is coordination. It cannot be considered as a function because it is the essence of management. Means in all these 5 functions, planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling, without coordination, it's highly impossible to carry out these 5 functions of management. You know, these 5 functions of management are interrelated to each other. Basically, management function starts with planning. Planning which is on paper. It's nothing but a dream. It's not a reality. It is just a dream, planning on the paper. The planning doesn't take shape until unless it is second function, organizing, comes into picture. This organizing function can start only when the planning function ends, because they are interrelated, they are series. It comes one after other. Planning, organizing, staffing, directing, controlling. So when planning stops, that is where the, I shouldn't tell a stop, when planning ends, when planning ends successfully, that is where actually what happened, organizing function starts, where you start getting the things, men, money, machine and material, bringing under one place and organizing it. The one who does this function is called as an organizer. So this is the second function. And how do you do it? Whatever you plan, as per that plan, you start procuring the things, what is required to start an organization. And after that, what happened? You go on with hiring of the people. Many people call it as recruitment, right? Recruiting the people, recruiting the staff. How many people, in which department, of what caliber, of what degree, what should be their background, what should be their, qualification background. You start hiring the people. That is called as staffing function. Once staffing function is completed, then you start with actually distributing the responsibilities and duties to different people who have been hired. Here is where actually managers start distributing the jobs to their employees working under them. They start giving them KRAs, key role areas. And they direct them. Managers are here to direct the employees working under them, because once you give the direction which is clear and transparent enough, it will be easy for the manager to get the work done. As confusing directions you give to your employees, that confusion and that problematic your employees will be for you. Because one thing we need to keep in mind, that all the workers, all the staff, all the employees working as a team under the manager, their performance is directly linked to the performance of the manager. If these teammates do the job properly, it is the manager who can take the credit, saying that he managed the team well. Obviously, when it comes to individual credit, everybody who has done good job, they will be given the credit. But overall, if you talk about the manager, the entire team's credit a manager can take. And for that, he needs to have clear clarity of passing out the information to his teammates. That is what is called as direction function. And last but not the least, we have controlling function. And what is this controlling function? See, you have already done your planning, and as per the planning, you have been doing the job. But who is the one who is going to tell that what you plan, you are going according to it, or you are missing something, or you may be deviating from the plans what you made? So controlling is a function which comes after directing, where you will analyze what was planned and whether you achieved that plan. You will have certain set standards. Okay, this is my standard. So where did I reach? If I've reached to what I actually wanted, yes, the job is well done. If I reach more than what I expected, yes, wonderful job. But when I reach to a situation which is showing me a clear sign that I'm underperforming, or my plans are not according to what was actually formulated by us, that is where it is called as underperformance. That is where most of the companies come with their plan B. We call it as sometimes as backup plan. This is called controlling function. And does it end with controlling? No. Management functions are interrelated and they are cyclical in nature. They just controlling stops, then again what happened? Again planning starts. It is cyclical in nature until unless the management is functioning, until unless the management is in the organization, these functions repetitively will be coming again and again. A new task, a new opportunity, again planning starts, organizing is done, staffing, directing, controlling, it goes on. So what is management here I mentioned? It consists of a series of interrelated functions. So now you are clear what are the series of interrelated functions? They are related. Planning, organizing, staffing, directing, controlling. These five things are interrelated, dependent on each other. And it is a series. Why do we call it a series? You cannot put controlling first. You can't do controlling first and organizing second. No. You can't do direction first and then planning next. No. It is a series. You have to start with planning, then go for organizing, then staffing, directing, and controlling. They are called a series of functions. And whom it is being performed by? It is being performed by the managers. Many organizations, they even call it as team leaders. Yes, even they are managers. Senior managers, junior managers. Their job is to make sure that what directions they get it from the top management, they pass on to their lower level management and they monitor how they are performing the job. So I guess I'm clear with this, the meaning of management. Let us see the next meaning of management to get more clarity. We have three meanings here, okay? Any one you can write, your wish, whichever you feel easy or whichever you feel that it is related, it is relative, and keeping in mind that it should not lose the content and the relativity of the point. It should be related. Now coming to the second point, you have management therefore being defined as a process of getting things done with the aim of achieving goals effectively and efficiently. Now what I'll do is I'll club this second meaning and the third meaning so that I can talk together and elaborate it in a very different manner or in a very clear manner. The most satisfying answer you could find, which even most of us are convinced about. What is management? Management is an art of getting things done through others. It is an art. Now, the question arises, is management an art? It is 100% art? No. Is it 100% science? No. Okay, if the question arises, is management an art or a science? Then you'll be writing the answer. It is both. It is both. But if in case they ask you the question, what is management? You will be writing it very clearly as management is an art of getting things done through others. It is an art. But you see, sometimes when our managers are on the field, it becomes difficult for them to get certain tasks completed. The reason being is different people, different mentality, different views. You don't find a group where everybody will be coming to common terms when it is about taking decision or doing the job. This fellow will tell, no, this is the way it is to be done. I don't, this fellow, this person B will tell, no, I don't think so, this is the right way to do. Person C will tell that, no, whatever you people decide, I will do it. That's what I told you. It is a very difficult task to manage people. You can easily manage machines. You can't manage people because they are the most complicated machine on this earth. That time what happened? The only thing to bring out the differences and to make everyone come to common terms is how a manager artistically, tactically, and strategically bring everyone to one point and tell, yes, this is what it is, this is how you need to follow. That is an art. That is an art. That is why it is mentioned as management is an art of getting things done through others. While I will explain you with a very small example. For example, tomorrow is a Christmas party, and today the organization have decided to celebrate in full swing, and they have given responsibility to two managers. Manager A has 10 members, manager B has 10 members. Manager A has been given ground floor for the decoration and making sure all the amenities or facilities are being in place. Manager B is being given the entire first floor of the organization to make sure he gets all the things done, all the facilities to be on place in time. Both have got 10 members to work for them. So both managers, manager A, manager B, both invite these 10 people and tell them, see, tomorrow is a Christmas celebration. It is going to be a very grand celebration. So we have been given a task of decorating the entire floor. I have been given the task to decorate ground floor. He has been given the task to decorate the first floor. So we need to do our things best so that our decoration is more better than first floor. And first floor manager tells that manager B tells our decoration should be better than manager A's team or the ground floor. And both the managers go away saying that I will be returning around 4 or 5 o'clock to just have a look as to how you have done the decoration. He gives very clear direction to them and they leave. Manager E is little adamant. Manager B is very cooperative. Both come as the time to quit the office or to leave the office is around 5 o'clock, logout time. Both managers come around 5 o'clock and they have a look at the decoration. Manager A starts shouting and yelling at his teammates, saying that no, decoration is not as per what I decided. Decoration is not pleasing me. I'm not happy with the kind of decoration we have done. He starts shouting very badly. Manager B comes, even he notices in first floor, his staff or his teammates have done the job, but there were few areas where things could be improved to make it look more better. So what will manager B do is, manager B just he'll sit with all 10 members and he will tell, you tell me how it looks. He leaves the decision on the teammates. He asks them that, please give your feedback. He start asking randomly. And these people start telling, sir, if we could have done that in this way, it would have looked better. I guess we should change. One person says that, sir, I guess we should change the color. Actually, I wanted to, but you told me, so I put up this color. So that color would have been better. Okay, the other person tells, sir, lighting should be like this. This will look more better and this will make the entire area lit properly. Then manager B very carefully and very technically he tells, yeah, even I do fine. So I just wanted you people to tell on your own as to where are the loopholes due to which this decoration is not looking as better as it could be. He tells what to do. His teammates tell, sir, give us 1 hour, 2 hour time. Sir, we will get, we will get the things right. We'll set it right. We'll change this. We'll change that. Nothing to worry, sir. That is manager B's team. You know what is happening in manager A's team, which is in ground floor? Manager A tells, see, I didn't want these things to come, so I want you to change. So you are going to stay extra time. You are going to change this, and until unless you don't change this, you are not leaving to your houses. Both managers again come back around 7 o'clock. Manager B, first floor, he sees the decoration, very happy, very happy he is. He says it's really pleasing. The decoration is really very, fantastic and very impressive. He applauds them. And manager B's entire team is smiling. They're happy. They're satisfied. They tell, sir, are you okay with it now? Yes, 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 it's a wonderful job done. So, what happens to manager A? Manager A comes in by 7 o'clock, ground floor. He looks onto the decoration. Then he tells that, okay, okay, now it is looking better. Now you can go to your home. Both teams come out of the organization. You see team A, teammates of team A are really disturbed. Nobody is smiling. They feel like they have been mentally tortured. They are not happy. And team B's teammates are very happily smiling faces coming out of the organization, and they are just leaving the gate of the organization. Everybody is happy. They feel charged as if they have not done anything since morning. They look very fresh. They look really very, happy from inside. So by quoting this example, what I'm trying to explain you is, you see the kind of approach each manager has. Now, you know what has happened with manager A? The team of manager A is really demotivated. They are not happy with the way the manager has spoken to them. And they have actually worked 2 hours extra, leaving their normal hours. They are not just tired, but they are tired. Even their soul is tired. Why? Because the soul has not been fed. They were not appreciated for the work they have done. They were not appreciated for staying 2 hours extra. They have not been appreciated for redoing most of the activities. They were shouted. They were not motivated. They have lost the confidence in manager A. Why? Because the way he has approached it, they really felt hurt. Now, do you think so the same team given to manager A, again for some future things, everybody would say that, yes, yes, I want to be part of his team? No. They will not be as loyal as they were today before this incident. On the other hand, manager B's teammates are very happy. They're very happy that the manager spoke to them as if he was a part of family member. He left the decision on them. You tell me what is looking right, what is not looking right. He left the decision on the teammates itself. And the teammates got charged up and they told, sir, we will do it, nothing to worry, no matter if it takes 1 hour, 2 hours extra. This is what management is. Management is an art of getting things. The art, the art in the manner in which the manager A handled the thing was worse than what manager B has done. Manager B very technically, very tactically used the strategy, brought out his art within him, his previous experiences, his previous company's experiences, and he utilized here and got the job done, even though they worked 2 hours extra. the teammates are still happy with the manager B. But manager A, the situation is completely different. So management is an art of getting things done through others, because it is, see, if you give me the job, if I am being given the responsibility of doing this job, I will be happy to do it. I will do it. Tomorrow, if anything goes wrong, you will shout at me. If anything goes good, you will pat my shoulder. But getting the things done through others, right, that is a bigger task. That is big hectic. Because you don't have control on other people. You may guide them, you may direct them, you may tell them this is how you are supposed to do. But what is the guarantee that they will do the way you are asking them to do? It may or may not happen, right? Giving warnings, telling them you're not performing good and all, that is later. But first, the job, what about the job? The job will not be done effectively. So, management is an art. And moreover, keep in mind that management, though it may be getting things done through others, and why do you get the things done through others is every management has a goal, every management has a objective. Without an objective, management cannot function. Management is clueless by themselves. Without any objective they are working. Do you think so? They will be able to convey to its team members what the company wants when they themselves are in dark. It's like a pen without a refill. It's like a pen without an ink. So management, every management has a goal to achieve, has an objective to achieve. And to achieve that goal and objective, you make teams, you discharge them of the duties, you tell them what to do, what not to do, and you give them the time frame saying that within this much time you get the work done. And then if they have done the job better, you will appreciate them, motivate them. And if they have not done the job, you will motivate them, but in a negative manner. You are showing them that yes, you have done a job, but it could have been better. Now, what is more important here is to be noted that getting the job done, okay, anybody can get the job done. You can boss around, you can tell, see, if you don't do the job, we will leave the job. We will throw you out of the company. Or you may have to leave the job. You have to perform this task. Okay, Zor Zabardasti, you can do it and you can actually get the work done. But what is more important as management is getting the job done with the aim of achieving goal effectively and efficiently. These are the two very important things you need to keep in mind. The entire course of a second PUC or your BBA or your MBA, if in case you're planning to be a common student even in the future, these two things are something which you need to inject into your bloods, and this is where everything changes. This is where the entire scene changes. We sit and decide, no, why did this company fail? Why is this company successful? Why is this company not successful? These two very important things. Both the company have management, but still one is successful, one is not. Why? Because these people manage the activity effectively and efficiently. These two things are very important. Even later we'll be talking about these two important terminologies. But getting the job done is not everything. Getting the job done effectively and efficiently is important. Effectively is nothing but with maximum accuracy. Efficiently is nothing but getting the job done with least resources, least time. Why? Because as much resources you save, it is a saving what the management does. We call it as optimum utilization of resources. That is called efficiently. I'll give you two examples, Anil and Sunil. Anil is the one and Sunil, both are in the same class. The teacher just gives the assignment to both of them saying that, see, I will give you half an hour time and I'm going to give you one topic called nature. I want you to randomly do the painting. Anil and Sunil participates into it, and Anil talks about nature. He talks, both simultaneously start the job, start painting. Anil takes 1 kg cardboard, 2, 3, 4. He's not happy. He's just scratching, he's tearing and throwing. Not happy, scratching, tearing. He's gone up to 10 sheets kg cardboards. In the 10th kg cardboard, he perfectly drew the entire painting. And on the other hand, Sunil took first kg cardboard, he drew it and it was not okay. He was not happy with it. He just tore it and he took the second one. And in the second one, he started keeping in mind that he should not take more kg cardboards and wasting it, rather trying to manage with this. After half an hour, you see both the paintings have come very wonderful, very nice. The teacher is really impressed that, both have spoken about nature, how the nature is getting affected, what are the things we need to do, how we need to save the resources. Everything is put in the painting in a beautiful manner in the form of a paint. Now, what do you think? Whose job was more efficient and effective compared to whose? You see, Sunil's job was more effective and efficient compared to Anil, because Anil may have been a little effective in drawing, but he was not effective and he was not using efficiently the resources. Just because the kg cardboards are lying there, he went on taking the kg cardboards and wasting the lot of resources. Though he was drawing or though he was painting on the topic called nature, he did not even keep in mind that this is also one of the important things to keep in mind, that we should not waste the resources available to us. More number of kg cardboards you throw, more number of trees will be cut down. But whereas Sunil, you see, very effectively and very efficiently, he planned in the first sheet. When things did not come out well, second sheet, he got really alert that, yes, I don't need to waste the kg cardboard. I have to be careful, and very keenly and very efficiently, he used the resources without wasting it. This is what the management is. Management is not just getting the work done. You need to get the work done. You need to achieve the objective. You need to achieve the goal efficiently and effectively. That is more important, because when you are utilizing your resources and not wasting them, it is not that only you are saving, you are helping the organization and the management to save on lot of activities. So hope all these 3 points you would have understand. All these 3, you see, they are targeted differently. Here they are mentioned as it is a series of interrelated function. Here they are talking about function. Here they are talking about getting the work done, but effectively and efficiently. Here they are talking about what? That management is an art. You see, different meaning, different aspects they are talking about. Clear enough? Now we'll be moving to the next slide, which is definition. As you can see on the slide, we have 2 different definitions. There are 3 to 4 definitions in your textbook, but these one are very relative, and we have been using this very often, quite often. As you can see, when you talk about definition, what is the major difference between meaning and definition is, meaning can be a general statement. Even you can put your concept in the form of meaning. But definition is something you need to keep in mind, that it is being told or propagated or defined by some personality under this quote unquote, double inverted commas. And this is where you need to keep in mind that when they are quote unquote, between these the lines, whatever it is, you cannot miss the point, or you cannot change your words according to your preferences. You have to exactly write what is being mentioned here. That is why it is called as definition. Now, talking about, let us first go to the definition given by Mr. Harold Kuhns and Heinz Weyrich, very famous management people. They have given a lot of other definitions also, planning, organizing. They've given many definitions, and they're famous. They're very famous personalities when it comes to management and the theory of management. Now, Harold Kuhns and Heinz Weyrich have defined management in their words, and I'm reading it out. According to them, Harold Kuhns and Heinz Weyrich, management is a process of designing and maintaining an environment. Four things you need to keep in mind here. Okay, how we have divided this definition in four simple points. First, it is designing and maintaining an environment in which individuals work together. Individuals work together. And when they work together, they work in a group. And why do they work? To accomplish or to achieve an objective or an aim of an organization. Now, the entire definition, what has been given here, you can see so beautifully in line number 2, they have mentioned two words. One says individual. After a few words, you see there is a word called group. One side it is individual, one side it is mentioned as group. Now, what they are trying to explain you or hint is that every individuals which come from different places, different background, he is an individual unless he steps inside the gate of the organization. He is an individual. Once he steps into the organization, he is no more an individual. He is part of the group or he is part of the team. Because what is management? Management is all about group activity. Management has never been a one-man army. Management is always about group activity, group goal, group efforts, coordination. It is all about group. So, Harold Kuhns and Heinz Weyrich has mentioned that it is a process of designing and maintaining an environment. See, whenever you tell this is my company, you need to create that environment in the company where everything is on place, on to the point, with set of rules, sets of regulation. This is the policy of the company. These are the rules of the company. This is the rules, responsibilities, what you have to do. This is what your KRA is. This is what the department is. This is HR department. This is finance department. You need to create an environment which gives satisfaction for the employees to work effectively. And just designing an environment is not important. You have to design the environment in such a way that stays for a longer time, which doesn't change very frequently and very oftenly. Because if you go on changing the working environment very frequently, very now and then it brings a kind of discomfort among the employees. Just imagine you have 4-bedroom hall kitchen house. One day I am asking you to stay with your elder brother. 2 days I'm asking you to stay with your second brother, and third day I'm asking you to stay with your third brother. And again I'm telling that switch on to first brother's room. You'll be really tensed. What is this? Every day it is changing. The room is changing. I don't feel like staying at all at home. I don't feel like it is like, every time I have to go from here to there, taking all my, belongings. Same policy applies even to the company. When you are in the company, the first thing management should make sure is they should design and maintain the environment in which individuals come and they work as a group. Till you are outside, you are an individual. Whatever your individual goals are there, whatever are your individual objectives, you have to leave it outside the gate and then enter into the organization. Because once you enter into the organization, you will be part of the group. You will no more be working for yourself. You will be working for the organization. because you have been appointed and you have been hired to do the job what the organization gives you because they are paying you. And you have to efficiently accomplish the selected aim. You can see this word is again repeated, even in the meaning we saw. Efficiently. You know, the resources are scarce in our country. Even though it is abundantly available, it is not a good idea that, oh, waste as much as you want to because we have abundant. You have to pay for the resources, right? Whether you are taking less or more. So it is always a good idea to have a habit of making sure that whatever resources you are using inside the organization, you keep a track of it and you use it only when it is required, not unnecessarily using or overusing the resources, because ultimately it will pinch the pockets of the organization. Just because you have a lot of time to spend, you should just not take a leisure time. Just you have taken 10 minutes, 15 minutes to go to the toilet room, you shouldn't be spending more than 10, 15 minutes. Just because you got an opportunity to go to the toilet room, you're loafing around on the stairs, you're loafing around on the what we tell corridors, you're taking half an hour, your own sweet time, and then coming back to the workstation and start working. No, you're wasting the resources. Here, even time is a resource, even the raw material is a resource for you, even the stationary items what you take inside the company is also a resource to you. Even in your house, you see, if you are just putting up a light in the room and nobody is there in the room, what will your mom and dad tell? Switch off the light because nobody is there. You are wasting the electricity. It may be a matter of 1 hour or 2 hours. It's not a big deal to you. But actually, if you sit and think, it is a very big deal because it is not one day. It is 30 days, 31 days in a month. And if you go on wasting the same way every day, then what will happen? You are wasting the resources, first of all. Second thing, you are wasting money, which is of no use. Nobody was there in the room. You have just switched on it and never utilized it. Same policy applies even here. Management is work, the individuals work in a group, but they work efficiently. They have to work efficiently to accomplish selected aim. Aim here also refers to objectives. But as it is mentioned, as it is a definition, you are supposed to write aims only. Okay. Now I guess you are clear with this definition. Now we are going to the second definition, which is the continuation of the first one actually. Even here, Mr. Kretner is talking about achieving, see, effectively achieving objective. Here, accomplishing aims. That is nothing but accomplishing objective. Even here, he is talking about effectively achieving the objectives by efficiently and effectively. You see, last sheet or the PPT slide, what we were talking about the meaning, we discuss about these two words, right? Effectively and efficient. That is where the management is differing from one organization to other organization when they are concentrating on these two words. So what is Mr. Kretner saying? He's saying that management is a process of working with and through others. So very beautifully he has mentioned that managers don't just try to boss around. Okay, I'm the manager, I will give you the job, you should do the job. No, it's not only you are here to only assign the job. Sometimes you need to even be a part of the job. You need to be a part of the team. You need to talk to them. You need to sit with them. You need to plan with them. You need to coordinate with them. You need to direct them. Sometimes you yourself have to work and show them that this is how it is being done. This is how it is supposed to be done. So that is what Mr. Kretner mentioned, that it is the process of working with and through others. You work with others and sometimes you work through others effectively to achieve what? To achieve the objective set by the organization. Yes, our objective is like this year by the end of December, we should be a company where we would have produced 400 crore rupees of products. This is our target. This is our objective. And to achieve that target, you set an objective. And to achieve that objective, you hire people, you hire managers, and everybody works for the same goal. Our objective by next March is that we should make sure that we get at least 500 PUC admissions. That is the objective of the college. And for that objective, you try to fulfill that how? By taking marketing guys. And you set them, you give them the opportunity by telling them that you have been appointed in our organization. What will you do? And this is what you will do to get more admissions to our company or to our college. So everything runs on objective. Objective is the prime focus which every manager has. Ultimately, what you do is not important, but how you do it and how effectively you reach there. Where you reach, what objective you have set, how you reach there is more important. And when you're reaching it, keep in mind that you effectively and with lot of efficiency, you reach there and achieve the objective, because ultimately it is, you will be concentrating on how to use the resources in an effective manner. No matter how many changes you may see in the company's environment, way of working, everything you see every day, it is a changing environment, right? Change is the order of the day. You cannot expect the way you are working will be the same even after 2 months, 3 months, you'll be working the same way. No, it changes. Environment changes. The way you do the work changes. Where we were talking about writing on the board and giving the explanation, everything, we used to talk about teacher, sitting in front of the, or teaching in front of the student physically. That is what it used to come to our mind when we talk about teaching. Today you see most of the things have become digital. Most of the lectures are getting delivered through video calls, phone calls, group calls, PPT. Many tests are happening over the internet. So you see, the environment has changed, and no doubt whatever the environment may change, you should keep in mind that whatever the resources are there of the company, those resources should be effectively used. Optimum utilization of resources is what we call. So this is what Kreitner has defined management as. Management is a process of working with and through others to effectively achieve organization objective by efficiently using the resources, not wasting it, not overusing it, by efficiently using the limited resources in the changing environment. This is what is as per Kreitner. Hope I have done a detailed explanation of the definition given by two different personalities, two personalities in top and one personality down. So if you have any doubts, please refer your textbooks. Next class, I will just give you a glance as to what we are going to talk in the next session. We are going to talk about the characteristics of management, where we'll be detailedly discussing, it is a 8-marker question. We'll be detailedly discussing what are the characteristics of management. And to understand management, we need to understand the characteristics very well, so that we can get into the nerves of what actually the management is in real sense. So hope you have understood. Thank you. Take care.